There is a kind of exhaustion that no amount of sleep can heal. It's not the tiredness you feel after a long day or the heaviness behind your eyes after too many hours on a screen. This exhaustion is different. It lives deeper. It's the exhaustion that comes from years of caring for others at the expense of yourself. You wake up already bracing yourself, feeling tension before your feet even hit the floor. You reach for your phone, and you feel your stomach tighten before even unlocking it because you already know what's waiting. Another request, another crisis, another person who needs something you aren't sure you have left to give. Beneath all the giving and showing up for others, there's a quiet voice asking, "How did I end up so empty?" That emptiness isn't a flaw. It's what happens when someone with deep empathy and care has never been taught how to protect that ability. You were given the gift of empathy, but no one taught you how to set limits. And that's exactly what we're going to change today. Think about the people in your life who consistently leave you feeling worse after spending time with them. Not when you're having a bad day, but consistently. The ones whose name on your phone creates a feeling of dread. The ones who turn every conversation into a crisis. These are often people you care about deeply, and that's why you've tolerated this imbalance. People who care rationalize this and convince themselves that real love means giving everything. But here's the truth. Sustainable love cannot exist when one person erases themselves for the other. What you've been doing isn't love at its highest form. It's love at its most fearful and unprotected. The people taking from you haven't been getting the best of you. They've been getting the last of you. Research on compassion fatigue shows that consistently absorbing others' emotional distress without recovery rewires your brain. Over time, you carry a constant background anxiety, a tension that follows you everywhere. It's the result of swallowing your own truth, over and over. You've been giving without boundaries, and now it's time to change that. We're going to discuss 3 boundaries that will help you reclaim yourself: the energy audit boundary, the guilt narrative boundary, and the self-continuity boundary. The first boundary is the energy audit boundary. It begins with radical honesty with yourself. Ask yourself, after spending time with a certain person, do you feel more like yourself or less? Relationships that drain you don't just make you tired, they leave you smaller, quieter inside. They blur the edges of who you are. This feeling isn't something to rationalize away, it's information. The energy audit boundary is about deciding which relationships consistently leave you feeling smaller and then making a decision to stop treating your availability in those relationships as unlimited. It's about stopping the automatic responses and setting limits. Not answering every call, returning messages when you have the capacity, and gently ending conversations when you begin to disappear into someone else's emotional world. The second boundary is the guilt narrative boundary. This one is about not giving into guilt when you set a limit. You've probably experienced a moment where you finally set a boundary, said no, asked for something, or set a limit, and were met with guilt. Someone says, "I thought you cared about me," or, "I guess I'm just a burden to you." In those moments, it's easy to feel like you've done something wrong. But here's the key. There's a difference between genuine hurt and someone performing hurt to manipulate you. Guilt used as control doesn't invite connection, it places you on trial. You need to sit with someone else's displeasure without immediately apologizing or retracting your boundary. Their disappointment isn't a crisis. It's simply the relationship adjusting to a new reality where you are a full participant, not just a resource. The third boundary is the self-continuity boundary. This is the deepest and most important boundary. It's about protecting the person underneath everything, The you that existed before you learned to make yourself smaller. Over time, in draining relationships, your sense of self can fray. You stop speaking your truth, you suppress your needs, and you start fitting into the mold others have for you. But this boundary is about reclaiming your true self. It's about acknowledging what hurts, recognizing your own needs, and treating them as legitimate. The self-continuity boundary means not abandoning yourself for others. It's about asking yourself, daily, what do I actually need right now? And treating that need with the same seriousness you'd give to someone you deeply love. When you stop abandoning yourself, some relationships may not survive that change. That's not because you've become selfish, but because some relationships were built on a version of you that didn't have boundaries. When you change, those relationships may not know what to do. But here's the truth. The relationships that survive, that recalibrate and grow stronger, are the ones worth keeping. These are the relationships that are built on genuine intimacy, where both people are present and not managing their own existence out of fear. So, the 3 boundaries you need to embrace are: energy audit boundary. Identify the relationships that drain you and stop treating your availability as unlimited. Guilt narrative boundary. Don't let guilt manipulate you into abandoning your limits. Stay grounded in your own truth. Self-continuity boundary. Protect your true self, the one that existed before you started making yourself smaller. Recognize and honor your own needs. These boundaries aren't about closing off. They are about opening up to the true, sustainable version of yourself. They allow you to show up fully, not just for others, but for yourself too. You have spent long enough being everything to everyone at the expense of being anything to yourself. That ends today, not with anger or walls, but with a firm decision that you are also someone worth showing up for. Guard your energy as the precious thing it is. Recognize guilt for what it is, and come home to yourself. This is the beginning of reclaiming the fullness of your life, your relationships, and your energy.